They say every book in the old library was bound in silence. That's what made the place so sacred and so dangerous. The building had no name, no official records, but somehow every scholar who had ever vanished in the city was last seen walking through its doors. I went there because of a smell, not the musty scent of ink or old parchment you'd expect, but something else. Something faintly sweet, almost cloying, like lilies left out too long in the sun. At the entrance, the caretaker met me. She was a thin woman, dressed entirely in black, complete with gloves and a veil that hid her face. Her voice was barely a whisper, quieter than the faint rustle of pages from deep within the library. "We do not speak here," she said, her words hanging in the still air. "Only listen." Inside, the atmosphere was thick. The air itself seemed to shimmer with ancient dust. Shelves soared higher than I could see, packed with books that felt alive as if they were breathing in slow, measured breaths. As I walked past the aisles, the air grew colder with each step, as if every spine was exhaling a memory I was never meant to hear. I found an empty desk and pulled out the first book I could reach. The paper felt unnervingly soft, almost like skin. The words on the page were faint and gray, written in a handwriting that was disturbingly familiar. A chill ran down my spine as I realized it was my own. Page after page, my own thoughts stared back at me. Dreams I had long forgotten, nightmares I had carefully buried, even memories that weren't mine, but felt as if they could have been. When I finally looked up, my heart pounding, the caretaker was gone. The grand hall was empty, but I wasn't alone. The books, they had started whispering. It began softly, 1,000 hushed voices breathing together. Then it grew louder, clearer, the words echoing in my mind. "Read us, remember us, you wrote us." Panic set in. I tried to run, but the floor was now covered in a thick layer of dust gray and strangely warm. I scrambled to the massive front door, but it wouldn't budge. Just then, the shelves began to tremble. A powerful wind, a tornado made of words, tore through the aisles, ripping pages from their bindings and swirling them around me like a storm of ash. Through the chaos, I saw faces forming in the swirling paper pail, silent, half-erased figures. Their eyes were hollow, their mouths stuffed with paper. "Knowledge never dies," they whispered in a chilling chorus. "It only changes hands." And then, as suddenly as it began, it all stopped. The books fell still. The silence returned, heavier than before. I looked back at the desk where I had been sitting. A new, freshly bound volume lay open. Its pages were blank, except for a single name written on the first line. My name. Bran. Or at least, I thought I did. The next thing I knew, I was waking up right back at that same desk. A quill was in my hand, moving on its own, scratching words onto the page that I couldn't quite see. Dust filled my throat, and when I glanced at my reflection in a small ink pot, the face looking back blinked a fraction of a second slower than I did. Now I wait. I sit here in the silence, listening to the pages turn. I wait for the next visitor, the next person drawn in by that sweet, deceptive scent. And when they arrive, I will greet them at the door with the same words she once offered me. We do not speak here, only listen. Thank you for listening to my story. If you enjoy tales of mystery and things that go bump in the night, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more. Stay curious and perhaps stay away from silent libraries.